Hey people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 17 of Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. Last time, we went to Temzik Park in order to investigate what Lynne had found there. And we found that a guy had been killed. So we went back in time, and we discovered that Missile had been killed and gained powers of the dead, which he used to save Camilla while killing the guy. And so thus we teamed up with Missile, we saved Camilla's life, we saved creepy park guy's life, and we stopped the plans of Mino, the god of death. So anyways, let's go talk to Lynne. Talk to Lynne. Have you met the strange young man before, Lynne?
I don't remember, but he said 10 years ago in this park. It can only be one thing that I can think of.
It looks like I'd better talk to Mr. Leaflet here. Here in this park, the god surely controlled fate. Today, 10 years from that day, we meet once again. If that isn't the power of the gods, then what else is it? It could be just coincidence. But apparently, you know our lady detective here. Could you tell us about it? About what happened 10 years ago? Yes, of course! I was actually about to do just that! Rock of the Gods. What is this Rock of the Gods you keep mentioning? Don't you know? It's right there in front of us! That's Missile.
Missile. Wait a minute, you said G-O-D-S, but do you mean D-O-D-S?
Though Missile, as we all know, Missile is part of the pantheon of the Ghost Trick world. Missile rules the universe. This is Missile's world, we just live in it. Of course not! Don't be silly. This is no time for ridiculous word games. You are standing just above the Rock of the Gods now. Take a good look at that monument.
Monument?
Rock of the Gods, Temzik Park.
The Rock of the Gods.
The rock is buried in the ground right there. It's been there these 10 years. Ever since that day, it flew down from the heavens and showed us a miracle. A miracle?
So this rock you've been talking about is a meteorite?
Precisely! It dropped from the sky on that day 10 years ago. Yes, of course. Surely you know all about it.
Me?
10 years ago. That day, I just happened to be passing through this park. I had no idea that day would change my destiny. The sun was going down, and through the gloom, I heard the scream of a little girl.
Eek!
I don't know, I can't do a girl scream. No, just calm down and drop that weapon. So stay back if you come any closer. I am not afraid to take life. I am not going to prison. I know what happens in the prison. I have seen the movies, and I know about what happens when you drop the soap, and I am not going to be there to drop the soap. I'll shoot her. I peeked out fearfully from the bushes and saw some shadowy figures. I didn't see the face of the criminal clearly. I knew I should have done something to help, but I couldn't move. The tension was so thick, it was painful, just when I couldn't stand it any longer. That's when it happened. The sky suddenly burned bluish white. When it crashed into the ground, the meteorite gave off a shower of beautiful fragments. And then I saw it, one of those beautiful fragments, pierced into the criminal's back. And then that detective took all the credit for it. The judgment of the gods was brought down in the park that day. "10 years ago, the little girl that was you was saved by the Rock of the Gods."
Oh my, I can't believe it!
The Rock of the Gods was given the name Temzik, and still today, it lies sleeping deep in the park's earth. Temzik.
I never knew about this Temzik. I always thought Detective Jowd was the one who saved me. I thought he was really badass.
You were very young then, and you passed out from the shock of being taken hostage. Of course you wouldn't remember. But that's funny. A huge incident like that should have caused quite a stir. It's strange you never heard of it, Lynne.
It is, isn't it? But now that I think about it, I remember I didn't want to think about what happened. I avoided the news and I never came back to this park again. That's why I didn't know anything about it.
The meteorite was named Temzik after the name of the park that it fell in. And then the Rock of the Gods was forgotten. Now an awful thing is happening. They're talking about turning this park into a housing site. I'll never forget the miracle I witnessed that day. And so I've taken up residence in this park and I'm trying to appeal to the people. Protect the park, the Rock of the Gods. That is my mission.
I see. I'm taking you with me, Missile.
So 10 years ago, the little girl that was Lynne wasn't aware of the meteorite. I get that, but Detective Jowd, on the other hand, there's no way he didn't know about this Temzik thing. And if he knew, and the man I died, I took his life. What was that confession of his all about? The rocks of the gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago changed the destinies of many people's lives, like the ripples on a pond when a pebble is dropped in. With every answer I get, I learn about a new mystery. Will I be able to break the chain of mysteries before dawn? Well, we're going to be moving on to the next chapter. Anyways, now that we have the evidence we need, we decided to meet up again at the minister's office. Besides, there are a few things I want to ask Detective Jowd.
We found the music box, Detective Jowd.
Good job, Lynne. I knew you would. Now to dispose of this evidence, and we can whitewash this entire crime. No one will ever be able to convict Camilla. Camilla's war crime shall go unnoticed. Once everything has been resolved, I wanted you to give this to him.
Him, you mean Inspector Cabanela, right?
I don't suppose he'll ever forgive me. That's why you're gonna take that gun and you're gonna pop a cap in his ass.
Detective Jowd.
Now then, let's get this thing open. There's a certain knack to doing it, you know. And then Joe just picks up the box and just throws it on the ground as hard as he can to crack it open. Yeah! See? He calls that knack? Looks more like brute strength to me. Hey, it's still better than just smashing it on the ground. Here you are. You should find a scorch mark on the grip.
Scorch marks?
When Camilla built her contraption, she used a special kind of string. It's the kind magicians use. It burns up in an instant and disappears.
Why would little Camilla use something like that?
To cover up her war crimes, Lynne. Why else? I don't know, maybe because she's a detective's daughter. Not leaving any evidence behind it and all that. Haha. That's why she really enjoyed her vat of sulfuric acid that I got her for her birthday. You should have seen her little face light up when she dipped her first cat in it. In the case report, there are mentions of some scorch marks. When it happened, Camilla was watching from her hiding place. She saw the flame run to the gun, something she naturally didn't include in her design. I took the gun out of the frame and replaced it with a picture. If you remove the picture, you should find some scorch marks behind it on the frame too. And those marks should match up with the ones in the gun.
In other words,
it proves the contraption existed there in the room that day. And it didn't work the way your little girl intended, is that right? Exactly. Some cowardly culprit modified the design. But that angle was never brought up in court. And so, as Justice Minister, I must call off the execution at this point.
I knew I was right. It was Detective Jowd. Now we can finally prove it. Thank goodness.
Thank you, Lynne. In those eyes of yours, I see the eyes of that little girl from 10 years ago who spent her time in a park cooking a potato. It was sad. Trick time. Okay. No, I don't want to go to you. I don't want to talk to you. I have to go underneath. Now let's talk to Jowd. Talk to you. Sissel, if you hadn't come to my cell tonight, I would be gone by now without ever knowing any of this. This is what I deserve. That's what I told myself these past 5 years. But things are different now. Thanks to you, my eyes have finally been opened. Tonight, I've come into contact with a lot of people's lives and got involved in their fates. And the only reason I was doing it was to regain my own lost memories. But things are different now. We're connected to each other somehow. I just know it. And that's why I need to ask you a few more questions in order to find the truth about us. Fair enough, fire away. Manipulator.
Cecil told me all about it, Detective Jowd. About the manipulator.
Yes, and it looks like this manipulator really did a number on the minister too.
Ah!
Please don't pick on the minister. If he dies again, I'm the one who has to save him.
Oh! Cecil, do you think that's what happened to me too?
What are you talking about, Lynne? Don't tell me. You were manipulated too?
There was always a part of me that just couldn't believe it.
I'm sorry. There was always a part of me that couldn't believe it. That image of the one who shot me. But now I see a possibility of a new explanation.
But who is it, and why'd they do it?
Camilla's contraption.
That contraption was a birthday surprise for Camilla's mother, wasn't it?
That's right. Camilla's mother told her that she couldn't have a cookie before dinner, and Camilla was having none of that.
Something's been bothering me about it. I feel like I know that device from somewhere, the murder machine.
No surprise there. You lost your life once tonight because of that machine.
Right, I knew it! See, Detective Jowd, it's a murder machine! It's a contraption of evil that should be destroyed!
No, I'm afraid I don't see. I told Detective Jowd about it. Told him about seeing that exact same contraption tonight in a completely different place. That's very strange indeed. A junkyard on the edge of town? I've never even heard of the place. And what's more, I've never told a single soul about that contraption.
You haven't?
That old pigeon guy. Who in the world is he? Temzik. Sorry, I had to burp. I swear, I'm gassy right now. Detective Jowd, you must have heard this name before. Temzik. The meteorite that fell in the park 10 years ago. You were there. So you found out about that, did you? The meteorite that stole all my credits. The meteorite that I stole all the credit from. I hear the meteorite saved little Lynne's life. That's right. I couldn't do anything to help Lynne that day. But in that case, I don't get it. If that's true, does it mean you didn't steal somebody's life away?
What are you talking about?
Detective Jowd, you told me that 10 years ago, the person who killed the perpetrator in the park was you.
What? But it was the meteorite!
I wasn't lying. I stole that man's life away. No question about it. It was entirely my fault. I was just about to shoot him. I would have shot him in the next instant if the meteorite hadn't come. And at that point, I was already a murderer.
That's not true! You were trying to save me! If anyone's a murderer in your family, it's Camilla! You know why there are any stray animals near our apartment complex? It's because Camilla destroys them all before they can even get away!
Lynne, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's really it.
Huh?
The truth about 10 years ago. On that day 10 years ago, a different incident happened in another place.
Another place?
Yes, in the police headquarters interrogation room. The worst sort of incident. A suspect who was being questioned escaped.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
I happened to be there in the detective division, so I joined the chase. Fortunately, or I guess unfortunately, I was able to track him down alone in the park. Hold it right there! I fired a warning shot. I wanted to catch him bad. That warning shot made him panic. At the time, I was a young and green detective, brandishing my sense of justice like a sword. I made him panic and got you involved, Lynne. It was all my fault.
Detective Jowd!
All I could see was my target. I couldn't even see you. I'm so sorry, Lynne.
So the man who grabbed me died that day.
These last 10 years, I've never forgotten his face. And then a few years after that, when my wife Alma died in such a mysterious way, I thought it was fate, my punishment for what I'd done. I painted pictures in my cell, nothing but portraits of people's faces. And one on the wall of Mino, the god of death. All the faces of the many people I'd met in my life, and I didn't want to forget. And tonight, I finished my last portrait, the final face I wanted to remember. The final face. The face of the man in the park that day. Well, wait just 1 minute! That can't be! I saw that painting! I saw the face you painted tonight. It was my face! Are you telling me I was the man in the park that time? Sizzle's been dead for 10 years! That's right. That face of yours is the face I saw 10 years ago. The face of the man whose life I saw. Of the man who was pronounced dead at the scene.
But hold on, Detective Jowd. That can't be true. I just met Sissel for the first time tonight. And he died right in front of me.
By the way, the name that I know the man in the park that day by isn't Sissel. What? From the first minute I laid eyes on you tonight, I've been wondering, who in the world is this guy? Mr. Minister. Inspector Cabanela, where are you? Just be quiet and listen. This is our demand. What? Demand? Our demand hasn't changed. The execution must be at night. In addition, you must provide me with a mango at the junkyard's edge. Why a mango? Why do you want a mango? Really? The guy's that crazy about his mango? I mean, why can't he just wait until the morning when the stores are open? Okay, that's weird. Once we confirmed it's been carried out, we'll release the hostage. What are you talking about, Inspector Cabanela? And you know it wasn't my daughter who was abducted. Does it really matter who the hostage is? A life is a life. Even if it's the daughter of a death row prisoner. Once the criminal gets the punishment he deserves, the hostage will go free. Carry out the execution immediately and wait for our call.
What is it, Mr. Macer? You look paler than ever.
What in the world? What's going on here? Inspector Cabanela! No, I don't know how to get a mango! The rock of the gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago twisted the fate of many people and started a chain of tragic events. And even now, the chain continues to grow even longer. Inspector Cabanela's call proved that to us. And the greatest mystery of all has risen to the surface. Who is this me I've been chasing all night? Who am I? I'm even further from knowing that than when I started. No, we don't want to save. Continue playing, yes. Chapter 15, 2:55 a.m. 10 years ago, a man named Sissel took a little girl named Lynne hostage, and then was killed by a meteorite fragment. Tonight, a man named Sissel met a detective named Lynne at a junkyard on the edge of town, and then was killed by a bullet. But the scene I was waiting for on the other end of the phone line feels like the final nail in the coffin of my lost memory. The greatest enemy is ourselves! Sissel was the enemy all along! I see myself. There you are, Commander Sith. Finally!
Cecil, where have you been, my good man? We've been looking everywhere for you, and for my mangoes! I swear, no one is reliable with mangoes nowadays! Did I wrong someone? Because I mean, first, Chico runs off with my $12, just leaves me high and dry, probably going off to the nudie bar doing whatever he feels like there. Then you got Tango, who bought a mango, and then proceeded to eat it over the phone, taunting me with it. And then it got smashed by some crates. And then Sandy's going out looking for bread and milk and not my mangoes. And please tell me, Cecil, that you caught my mango, please.
I got your mango. I got it out of a deal for a hostage situation. I have a little unfinished business to take care of. Didn't think it would take this long. What about your people? They sure went out of their way to mess things up.
I say, we believe we fulfilled every one of your conditions in our little deal. And cut me some slack, Cecil. I've been struggling to get a mango all night. Please, I just want a mango. I have the cravings. I have nothing in life. What right do you have to complain about anything outside of our bargain?
We can talk about that when we get together.
This will be our last communication by telephone. We'll arrive in 1 hour. I look forward to seeing you, Cecil. Pray you have my mango. Because if you don't have my mango, I am going to go crazy. I will headbutt you, Cecil.
Dawn's approaching. The darkness surrounding my own murder is deep. My own mystery is deep. But I know it's always darkest before the dawn.
Yes, we're nearing the final stages of our little deal, my good man. I can taste the mango. Please, I just want my mango. Is that too much to ask? I want my mango. I want to play on my I want to eat my mango while playing on my PS2. Is that so wrong?
Yes, sir. All preparations are complete, sir. We just tried to report, sir. Lights have been spotted, sir.
How'd they now? By all means, let me have a look. Can I stay to women's apartments with this? Yes, we're very close. In fact, I can see a woman coming out of her shower. Ooh, the town is starting to slip down.
We will now disconnect from the communication cable and have no service until we arrive, sir.
Very well. Freaking sad-ass fruit bowl. I just want it's missing my mango. I have nothing.
Yes, the big twist. Basically, this guy has been in a submarine the entire time. Nice try, Inspector Cabanela. But you can never stop me. Look at my suit, it's snazzy. I mean, you think that you can stop a guy who is so well dressed like me? See ya, sucker. Now, and thankfully, I took all of your money. Your wallet is now mine. Okay, we'll do that, and then we'll basically go visit Cabanela in the next episode. Anyways, I really appreciate that you took around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want. With that, I'll see you next time. Bye.